You're watching Zach Pack TV.
You guys wanted to tune in. It's a little bit before Thanksgiving. Everything's getting busy here around my house and getting cold, real cold actually. Today was actually it was just a little warm spell. Like it went from cold to a little warm, and I actually really loved it because today I got something that you guys want to check out and hopefully make a video that helps someone else in dealing with a rebuilt title. Yeah, so it's going to be with dealing with a rebuilt title. This was the first rebuilt title I've ever bought. Now, keep in mind, I've bought tons and tons of vehicles. Like, I couldn't even tell you, probably had 40 vehicles since the day I started driving, and I'm 32 now. So I'd say that's quite a bit of vehicles, but yeah, I fix them up and stuff like that and drive them. And I might have a couple each year, but yeah, it's even got Christmas music. But I'm gonna show you this truck I picked up. I'm in love with it. I knew there was gonna be some body damage, and I knew how to prepare for that because over the years I've seen my fair share of bad body repair and damages that people, oh, I'm not gonna say it, but half did the job. Like, it was rushed, and there was a tiny bit of this on this truck, and I almost knew going in that I was gonna find something that I didn't like. I mean, let's be honest, it's a rebuilt truck. There's a reason it's rebuilt, and there's a reason why it's half the, well, not in this case, it wasn't half the price, but they're kind of, over the years, they used to be considered half the price of a title or a car without a rebuilt, is the way people looked at it. But nowadays it's a little bit more than half. I'm going to be dropping a picture, a screenshot right here of a truck, since I'm talking about it right now, a truck that was local that didn't have a rebuilt title, and it was black instead of blue. Which mine's blue, and it shows the price of being like 27, something around that. I'm just gonna say I paid like 10 grand less than that truck that's marked on there, and it had the same mileage and everything, same interior, same options. This one is a Bighorn Ram, but this applies to any truck or car. Take my advice on this. If I bought something without a rebuilt title, I would have been paying, I looked at it, I would have paying about 10 grand more. So I saved 10 grand. To me, that's 10 grand I saved on buying a rebuilt title. And keep in mind, right now it's 2022. The economy is crazy right now. Houses are expensive, cars are expensive. There's a chip shortage still. Gas prices are high. There's all kinds of things right now. It's the winter time, which is normally hard to sell vehicles, so I think I had a little bit of advantage on them. I was able to talk them off the price, I think $1,500, and I always recommend trying to negotiate, especially when you get there, because you're gonna find things after you drive away that you didn't know were there, and you're gonna be like, man, I wish I would have offered less. It always happens to me, and it never fails. So there's just not enough time to physically look at everything. So see if there's room for negotiation. That's my number one always. People always do it to me when I'm selling something. It's just how it goes. Some people, they know their number and they know it's marked and they know it's a sell, and you just have to accept it. If it's, you know, obviously a good deal, it's a good deal. So let's get to why I made this video. I'll show you a quick interior shot in case you guys kind of give you something to go off of. It's got a nice readout up here, all power. It's got the window that opens in the back, the rear opening window, plenty of room. It's great. So here's my advice on buying a rebuilt title, and I'm going to give you guys a walk around, but this is really just my advice is definitely don't pay full. That's a big no-brainer, obviously. When you're when you're looking at a car, make sure it's not a rebuilt if you're paying full price, because sometimes people don't disclose it, and you definitely don't want to buy it if they're trying to pawn something off on you like that without disclosing it. I'm pretty sure there's laws against doing that. They need to tell the buyer that it's rebuilt and has been a salvage title in the past. Here in Indiana, it's very hard to tell of a rebuilt title. It literally looks like the same title, but in the little right corner, it says rebuilt. And then on the title type, it says normal. Under brands, it says rebuilt, and the title type, it says normal. So that's kind of tricky when you're looking at an Indiana title, but it's easy once you buy one and once you see it. I'm gonna give you some pointers to look for, but before I step out of the truck, it's a little windy. I apologize for that. It's a little windy, so there's gonna be just some distortion. I'm gonna do a quick walk around and kind of point out some things that I saw. But here's what I want you to do. If you're buying a rebuilt title vehicle, get the VIN before you go. In this case, I was in a hurry and I knew I could get the VIN there. I had my brother-in-law with me, so I told him already. I was like, dude, if you don't mind, just grab the VIN off the windshield, because odds are the guy's not going to have pictures of it before the build. Sure enough, I asked him. He didn't have pictures before the build, because you want to see what damage it was, where the damage was localized. You want to know where that impact was. If it was all around, you probably don't want the vehicle, because it's been buttered up all around. I like the ones, especially when looking and I see, are the ones with the front impact where the fender and everything can be straightened out. The frame can get bent sometimes. You definitely want to watch out for that. If there's a bent frame, you probably don't want to buy it unless a professional guy fixed it up and you can't see the bend or any damage. But here's how you tell how bad the damage is. This is what I want you to take away from this video. Take the VIN and put it in Google search. Put the year, RAM, or whatever you're buying, the year, make, and the VIN number. That helps, because what that's going to do is search all the websites that vehicle has ever been posted on for sale, like auction sites, anything of that nature. And sure enough, I'm going to post a link here of this truck that I bought. Actually, not a link, but a screenshot of this truck that I bought. So I got to see the damage that was done. So that helped me when I was there. I knew where to look, and I found all the replacement parts where they fixed everything. The axle had been, axle shaft had been replaced, the A-arm, the suspension, all that had been replaced on the driver's side. And there was some door body work over here that I knew I was gonna probably see, and on the bed. So do your research and hop online. If you're gonna buy a rebuilt and save some money, hop online and do your research and find the damage before you get there, because you can then tell if there's any like disclosed damage. Like if a frame's bent, they might have put it on the ad, so you know. So I'm gonna hop out and show you guys some other things that I found once I knew where the damage was localized. All right, so here's the truck, and right away you can see the way it's sitting. There's kind of an indentation around the fuel door, and there was like a big dent right here. So I knew I needed to look in that area, and I actually crawled under there and looked, and it actually looked like they pushed it out, or I told my brother I have any like new metal, so I need to look at the pictures closer. But I knew this whole bed was dented right here, and you can see in this body line, if you're looking at it just right, there's like a dent right here and kind of some funkiness right here. But that's only if you know it's there. As somebody that's really going to be looking, they did a good job on the paint, because look, I mean you can see me. It's like a mirror. That's what you want. Really good. There's just a little bit of like orange peel and stuff. No more than, I would say, factory for, we can go. Yeah, I mean the orange peel over here, this is a factory side. It looks factory to me. There's a little paint flaws though. Like I did see some bubbles and stuff to where they probably painted over old paint to blend, and sometimes you get that. I did know there was some damage on this door. Oh, red flag, Bondo. So there's Bondo here I need to clean off. My brother-in-law was like, oh, I think that might be wax, but I was like, you know what, it might be. But then I saw this pink stuff, and that was a dead giveaway on Bondo. So they left some loose ends. Didn't really do a good job on buffing it. This here needs buffed out. It's not a paint issue, it's just they left buffing compound all over the truck. There's even like buffing compound on here, and now I know from experience this buffing compound is hard to get off. And look, you can even see some where the paint was chipped and painted over. But so I accepted that this whole side probably had been repainted. And I found little flaws like around here. There's little dimples. Now I think they put a new fender on. And painted it. The body lines all looked good. The door shuts and seals all good. So I was happy with the truck as far as that goes, knowing that it was not like a caved in cab or a rollover, because I've owned one of those before and didn't like it. So I found out. Actually, that takes me back. I have owned one other rebuilt title truck. It was a Dodge Ram, or it was a Dodge Cummins. It was a 24 valve, an old extended cab, like a 99 model maybe. And I didn't know it had been rolled over until I did the Carfax on it, but it was a rebuilt title. And I actually didn't lose any money on that truck. I remember it like yesterday now. I actually spaced that I have owned a rebuilt title. But man, I can't complain for getting this 10 grand less. Now I did notice, this is one of the things I didn't notice till after I took it through the car wash, because I was looking at the body, not the wheels, and I was looking underneath for leaks and stuff, because you want to make sure that there's none of that under there that's going to leave you stranded, is the way I look at it, like just stuff that wasn't put back right. So this is something that I'm dealing with. The tire has a wobble. It's not a wobble while you're driving it, you don't feel it, but my brother-in-law was behind me on the way home and he said, man, your tire's wobbling. So we got out and found out there's a bent wheel. And those are just caps, but I think that wheel might be toast. This one has a spot right here in it and dent right there. But yeah, if you're looking for, let's say you don't have a way to, like, you search the VIN and there's nothing on it, no info, then go in it, and these are my tips for looking. You want to look for any paint flaws like these little dents. Those can be from Bondo. A lot of times they're from Bondo, and sometimes they're from overspray. It just depends, like how it was prepped and everything. And look for any rubbing compound. This one, like, obviously somebody rubbed it with a buffer, high-speed buffer, and it just splattered everywhere. So if you see any white dots, if the car's white, look for the black areas, and that's a dead giveaway that somebody's been buffing the paint. So usually it's localized to a certain area. They even left it on here. I mean, in my opinion, that was kind of a shoddy job on the buff, but I'm gonna do some more on the door and take care of that. But there was no damage. Oh yeah, there was damage over here, right there, and I knew that was there from the pictures. But I can tell this was original because it's got the guy's sticker, but the other side doesn't. Yeah, all this looked factory to me. Looks like something rubbed up against here. But yeah, overall, really had to look at a rebuilt Ram about 5 years ago, and you got to be careful, because this is why it's good to know and see pictures of the damage before. This truck had been hit in the rear. One truck that I looked at, the lady was nice enough to tell me what had happened to it, but had she not told me, I wouldn't have known. But the whole back end of the truck had been cut off and re-welded on because the frame was so mangled when it got rebuilt that's how they had to do it. So be careful. If you can find ones that are front impacts where all that under there can be replaced and not mess with the alignment or in the frame, those are the ones you want. And I think I found it right here. So yeah, be careful on what you buy. You might get into floods too, where if there's water damage, you can have a whole electrical mess because all the water gets in, especially salt water, and corrodes everything. So just be careful. And thanks for watching. Hope this video helped.